What is the Yeah, I'm trying to find the volume for the laptop to go down. I can't see.
That's where the problem is. Sweet.
Right.
Yes.
To my partner. Yeah.
Like the police car.
Regular meeting of the council. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody's meeting. Sure change that, advertise, enroll, for a website, enroll for social media channels, and any other mediums. Currently, statutorily required notice number, which is recently changed. If you have a cell phone, so put it on silent. Speak with somebody while we're private business. Please do so outside of council chamber. Roll call, please.
Mr. Benjamin.
Here.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Present.
Mr. McLean. Mr. Curnow.
Present.
Mr. Scarrazza.
Here.
Mr. Woods.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is the public portion of the meeting. Anyone public wishes to come forward to speak on any topic, forward to press the record.
Good evening, I'm Tom Rosinski. I'm one of the owners of Ginseng Dispensary at 12 South Center Street. I'd like to inquire about the possibility of amending the ordinance that limits our open hours. I'd like to try to get at least parity with the Blue Monkey, which is next door. Currently, on Sundays, we're allowed to be open from 12 to 6. There are 11 other dispensaries within 10 miles of here, and they're all open later than we are, so we're definitely business, and therefore virtually those losing tax revenue from sales. The Blue Monkey is open 11 to 11 on Sundays. Eclipse is also open 12 to 8. Ideally, we would be open 12 to 8. I'd like to get it to be the same as Blue Monkey 11 to 11, just so we have a little bit of flexibility, but when the Super Bowl comes, so we can stay open a little bit later on that to later finish the game. One of those lines.
Tom, you mentioned it was an ordinance. Is this an ordinance having to do with retail cannabis?
It's the so this is zoning ordinance. It's section 94-32.1.
There's a specific restriction for their use.
And you're just for just Sunday or for every day?
I mean, ideally, we'd like to parity with Monkey, but Sundays are.
Is your ask today?
Okay.
What, and I don't know off the top of my head what different variables are for different uses in our community and when they're allowed to be open, not open. Here's just a specific case, obviously, but basically we can look and see what we can look at our code. That's something that we use more to do. It just takes time. So we'll take a look at it and see what we can do. To look at, I guess, our zoning ordinance, you know, business openings and to see whether we can do something.
So I believe when we passed the original ordinance, we were looking at a retail facility, and our retail is typically 12 to 8.
But now that we have a lounge component for kind of similar.
Know that?
I remember we.
No. We know more retail.
I know the retail is different from here.
You said that a
We
little.
had the consistent. I remember we had discussions.
Okay.
With other retail
Right.
facilities in town.
I think when it was done also, I think it was set up in parity with the. Yeah. I think that's what they're.
That sounds.
Okay. We'll take a look at that. I mean,
Sure.
I recommend sending letters to Mr. Higgins,
Okay.
requesting what hours you want, but
Just we'll send it to council.
yeah, we'll send it to council.
Okay, so I can send it to you.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Mark Arcanay, 40 West U. I want to thank many of you that I spoke to concerning the issues next door to our house, and I understand there's a resolution dealing with boarding rooms and stuff like that tonight. Hopefully something will get passed. But I want to speak on a greater note that when these issues were happening over the wintertime, council was very receptive. Sean and I have had numerous conversations. I talked to Andrew, I spoke to you. When I had an issue with tree, Ray, you reached out to me almost immediately. So the council's been very responsive. Downstairs has not been responsive. And we were told when this all happened to please send emails, license plates, people, all the things that were happening next door. We were told to send stuff, and we requested a response. Yes, we've received it, thank you very much. No email was ever sent back to us. What we called the police, they came out, they explained the police were great. Fast forward to some news that I heard today. I joined the Board of Ed 8 years ago, and one of the things that I really wanted to get done while I was on the board was a full-time summer camp. We have a working community, many families have 2 parents, and I really think our community would have been well served with this. And we had conversations with our previous CSA, and there were some roadblocks. And Andrew and I went and had a beer at Eclipse and discussed some of these issues. But with new administration, it seems like something was put out there and a survey was sent out. I will say, I don't know how many of you have parents in the commercial system, but when a survey is sent out on Friday, in the past, it's gotten maybe 8 to 10 responses. For the one concerning a full day summer camp, there were 70 responses. So it was overwhelming. So when I followed up, and I didn't know at the time how many, where I reached out to our CSA and our board president, and I said, hey, can I promote this on our neighbors? And they said, well, hold on. Seems like council might be doing parks and playground again. But it doesn't seem like it was the council that came up with it, it was downstairs. So I'm wondering about the communication aspect, who is running downstairs, because there is a definite need for this. There has been an outreach with parents in this, and my personal dealings with next door, I would have loved. It just seems like there could be better communication with downstairs. So I don't know what the plan is with full day summer camp moving forward, but I do hope that it is discussed and we do implement. That's it. Thank you. Any other members of the public? I haven't seen them. Close public portion of the meeting, we'll move into public hearing on ordinance 2603, bond ordinance for trash truck. Anyone, in public, who wishes to come forward and speak on that ordinance, please forward, state your name and address for the record. Hearing and seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on ordinance 2603, bond ordinance for trash truck, and we will move to the next item on the agenda, adopt ordinance 2603, bond ordinance for trash truck. Do I have a motion? So, Bruno first, Cheryl the second on that one. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Curnow?
Yes.
Mr. Karatza?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is proclamation for Arbor Day. I don't think it's in the record. Yes, it's record. Every year for as long as I can remember, but we take great pride in as I say here, and want to recognize our great importance in our community, and so we claim Arbor Day. So please get out there. I know my new 5 trees, and then as a little work. Yeah, you did.
Only
All right, approval of minutes. All right, first we have March 9th. Mr. Benjamin, Cheryl Woods can vote on that. Do I have a motion? So, second. And a motion, second, Mr. Benjamin, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Next, I have March 23rd. Mr. Benjamin, Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Curnow, Mr. Scott, and Mr. Woods can all the second. The first and the second, Mr. Woods, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Thank you very much. Engineers report. Release. Good evening.
Good evening, thank you, Mayor and Council. So we are working on finalizing the order for Somerset phases 1 and 2 for reimbursement. The survey for phase 3, working to complete the design and get it to approval. We did get a note from the resident regarding scheduling the construction work with regards to a possible event with neighbors, but I think we'll be able to successfully do that. By the time we're ready to go. T-HUD, we were successfully able to get added the Bureau's account. We're currently working to get the documents submitted. We completed a site walkthrough with the electrical designer. We have vendors and plate selections. Attempting to have the design with photometric completed by the end of the month, with an idea whether that was cooperators for purchasing and or installation of it. So that we're trying to do a hybrid.
Can you send around so that we're going to have a meeting there. We do have a meeting later this month. But some of the lights, styles, and stuff,
I have
so the council can see them.
I have selections here that I can forward around. These are just the basis of the design. Obviously, something similar or different. Yes.
I just want to make sure
We know what not to use. We've seen that.
we're not landing.
How far down are we going? But we'll do like that.
The entire.
All the way down.
All right.
That goes sort of this is just the lights. We have another couple project for paving.
No, it's all part of the same thing.
Yeah, the private department is overlay.
Chance that we can share.
No,
Venture in that.
We're not disturbing any more than.
That's what I think.
the favorite part is the area, by St. Pete, so don't, not paying attention, like roll down to the right.
Mine's the favorite where it looks like.
Well,
Oh.
it's better that way. We want to do
We could, if that was something right.
Yes, it would.
You guys wait till January. Okay. The one street that I know that we have an issue with, trying to make playing with fire a little bit. It's focused there with tree roots coming through. Like, what are we doing? What can we do there? Is that on any lists for replacement? Because that's, pretty soon you will have a speed hump there in an unintended area.
Yeah, we have looked at it, to go back to my notes, it's something we can look at doing the current DOT project. It is a non-participating alternate type thing, or we have some contract.
I mean, it looks like it's what, 50 feet curb to curb? Maybe not even.
Not curb to curb,
From the intersection.
It's probably closer to hand,
yeah.
but you're
Yeah.
gonna do it inside the streets.
If you could look into that, because I'm certain that it's not getting better.
Further down, big pothole too.
Well, further down, you get further down that street, you have all types of water issues. And, I feel like I'm reliving this Groundhog's Day here, with the sump pump issue, pumping out water. And since those two properties were, redeveloped there or developed there, there's a lot of water stuff on the street that creates potholes and ice issues in the winter. And until, allows us to kind of regular storm sewage, these issues.
Speaking of potholes, going back to your first item, the Somerset project, the intersection where it meets Lemon, where it's all going on. Are we repaving that area?
We're gonna go as far as we can, approaching.
Because I'm wondering, because it seems like we're pools there, would it make sense to do what we did over at St. James where there's that? Like, yeah.
I think that's a standard. For now.
It seems like that might be needed.
I may reach out to Cameron too.
I mean, if they want.
No, not going as far as that.
Plus, it's approaching goes
Within the right of way.
within the right of way, right? So they might actually fall under their property.
You're to reach out to them.
Yeah, I'm exactly, they got, I'll reach out to them.
While you're on the phone with our county engineer, express our concerns with when this development comes online, cut through traffic on their county there. I'm concerned both about the intersection with the circle right there. What's that, Wisteria? Clayton. That's going to be, I don't even want to think about it, frankly. And I'm not sure what the traffic pattern is for that project, but if you're dumping people onto Clayton, into Merchantville, the cuts where we get 30.
Oh,
I'm just saying, if you're dumping there, or even if you're dumping on the Hampton, which is, Merchant Country Club.
Yeah,
I think it's,
yeah.
It should be, but I'm just,
but I could imagine.
Funds of caution. Could you just get a little bit of information about what's the county, planning board approved for ingress egress for that site? And then also express our concerns about traffic on that county road, 25-mile-an-hour road, and people are going, trailers there, but it's going to be nuts. That's how many units? 600, 400, a lot of units, a lot of vehicles. So. No, it is. I'm not, I don't think it's a negative way.
So they don't
I
go
just,
too.
If you're dumping on the clay, it's got a light, it's already bad as you get rush out. Anyway, I don't know how they're changing the light cycle for Chapel and Hampton. I'm an inchman there, I don't.
It'd be fun to go too.
Already good.
Jump across.
So anyway, we have a number of concerns. All of those roads are county. There's going to be a lot of traffic.
But the country club, like crossover there.
Oh,
Yeah, the offers, they're in play. All right. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much. Correspondence.
We received a certificate of achievement. Since
The Kent County Joint Insurance Fund with zero all seven. Thank you to all of our department heads for their work on that front. No other correspondence? Council reports. Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple updates from Shade Tree. We were once again designated as a Tree City USA for our 48th year running. And this past weekend, as you alluded to, we planted another round of new trees across Borough. I think it was 22 in total this time around. Or was that for the total for the full?
I think it was 30.
Okay, yeah, so it was somewhere in that range. And we confirmed with homeowners, were planning out front of the house that they were okay with planting there, and that they will continue to take care of the trees that are planted in front of the properties. And we also did a walkthrough with DPW in locations where we're planting in parks to make sure that they were Shade Tree was intended to put those trees. So we were covered all our bases, but we have a bunch of new trees in, and hopefully they last. Take care of it. And from Green Team, they will be meeting this Thursday, 7 p.m. at the Clips. And that is all I have this evening. Happy to answer any questions.
It seems like the most aggressive plan we scheduled.
Oh, this is other than the tiny forest where we planted over 100 trees. Yes, this is the most trees we planted. So it's time. We could lock down a lot of troublesome trees over the past few years, but now it's time to start filling in our canopy again.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Woods? All right, Mr. Benjamin.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Just two quick reports today. Starting with the reports, for March, there's one virtual session, $6,922.95 turned over. For April, 294 cases added, and 271 disposed. Diversity Committee is meeting again on April 23rd, and so that's it.
Thank you very much. Questions to Mr. Benjamin? All right. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Your Honor. Start with the Board of Ed. The last meeting was held on March 24th. Primarily dealing with budget discussions, currently looking at potential for 6% as the current increase in order to maintain current staff and programming. The next meeting is set for April 28th. Still set for April 20th. It wasn't January. Sorry. Thank you, Mark. To kind of piggyback a little bit on Mr. Tarkin, I mentioned that we had officially started a discussion regarding some type of joining of the summer programs with the school. A survey was sent out. At some point, communication broke down with some of the staff here, and as an email was sent out stating that we were no longer going to continue down that path. I would still like to continue, at the very least, having discussions with the school. It's not going to work this year, I understand. We're getting closer to the deadline for sign up. The camp registration start on April 28th, but seeing Mr. P was nice enough to send over some of the survey data that they received. There seemed to be a good amount of interest in the concept of a joint program. I think it's something that we should still pursue in discussions for potentially next year or going forward. So that's where we currently stand there. Board of Health had a meeting scheduled for last week that was pushed back. DPW, we did actually reached out to the Water Commission to do a spot repair on the water fountain, Wellwood Park. It might be past its lifespan at this point. One of the things that, because of it being the 100th anniversary of the Water Commission, in the past we've donated water fountains along the bike path. Some initial discussion has taken place with that committee about potentially maybe donating another one in place of that one. that's kind of reached in.
It's like, say, well.
Yeah, the low end part, the one's looking
Next to the pickleball.
next to the big one, yes, sir.
Wasn't that donated for? I thought those were just for.
No, the bike pass is donated. I mean,
Yeah.
that one of those was donated.
I
That was
know.
redone.
Oh, maybe that's.
Yeah, it was redone, and that's, yeah.
See, that was forever.
Yeah, and the water commission is essentially been.
Yeah, no, I thought, that's what I thought that was.
It's not, at this point, it's not as new as the ones on the bike path. Bike path is going to for 10 years. They were doing the 90th anniversary. This one is a little bit older. The parts in it are getting harder to come by, and at this point, it's probably reached its lifespan.
It was a great worship of high school.
It really was. I know. And just piggybacking on that, I received a couple phone calls. The fountains on the bike path, they're not turned on until late April, early May. Typically, they're off. I haven't gotten a phone call in a couple years about that, but they're both in working order. That's all going. I'm sure we'll be back on April. Other than that, that's all I have for this evening. Questions?
I don't have any questions. I want to comment and then I'll go a little out of order and put something on the spot. But I mean, I believe because of the size of our community that we should probably work towards a joint solution at this point between the programs that the school has put on traditionally and our parks and playgrounds program. I know that there are a number of hurdles that are present. Put aside miscommunication. There are hurdles in this. I don't know from a time perspective, realistic, that it could get done this year. This is why we're not putting two on the spot and putting Mr. Carpenter, who showed up to council on the spot. You've been an advocate of this. Do you feel like these hurdles that are in place, that we know are in place, and being able to actually put a program together that works, safe, from transporting kids potentially to the park and back? There's all types of issues that I've heard. Is that something that you think? And I know Mr. P is somebody who is very, willing to do whatever he can.
So
Do you think that the timing is?
I will say
In your
this.
opinion.
I don't know all the issues. Mr. P has been hands-on with this, and whoever's been the point person for council has been on this. When he first joined, I had pressed him and said, this is something I'm interested in. First mentioned it to the board at our last meeting. I hadn't heard about it before that. So I don't know.
We wanted to explore it this year.
Okay.
Just based on our prior conversations over the years, just
In my conversation with Vince tonight, he said it was a 6-month conversation. So I don't know how far along all these hurdles had been considered or.
So the initial point when Mayor and I first reached out to him, it was prior to the start of the holiday season. And obviously with Mr. P, they wanted to get his feet under him a little bit. This was the secretary thing. He'd asked for a little bit of a delay. Unfortunately, I think the delay kind of played into us getting into that time crunch for April now. So I'm kind of in agreement with the mayor that I don't know if it's feasible. I don't believe it's feasible for this summer to go with it, but I think that we have a good groundwork now laid with surveys that you had mentioned. We have the line of communication. We have, I think, the desire on both ends where maybe it wasn't there before. So I still think that it's a viable thing to chase through the remainder of this year going into next summer, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's feasible this year. I think we're already at a point where there's a lot of planning that needs to go forward. But I 100% agree that we need to consider what our options are next year. I think we need to start meeting sooner rather than later. It doesn't have to be this month,
Right.
but maybe ahead of next school year. Start having conversations. I mean, there are certainly barriers about time of day, staffing, transportation, as you alluded to. But I think we need to get everybody on board, iron out those problems. And I mean, maybe it's not feasible, but I think we certainly need to brainstorm and bring everybody together.
just seems to be smart government.
Yeah.
And smart government providing services, for reasonable value to our residents. So that's how I think we should do the conversation, maybe just put the pressure of trying to get something done before this summer off and say, hey, let's put a real plan together. It's comprehensive. See what I'll start or fall back on. Get something.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Joe? Thank you. Mr. Sprout.
Thank you, Mayor. Very quickly, original fire calls. The 123 in the Borough, 2 at Socket. So I know we talked about in the past, expand other departments. We haven't seen nothing call line, so just as we monitor, where our relationships are and who covers mutually. Definitely seeing more so far this year. Late night shifts, which is always nice. It's usually pretty split. It was nice to be in the so. Minor mechanical apparatus, minor mechanical issues. Other than that, we have 5 that are going to firefighter. All our trainings are the mandatory trainings. Fire prevention, 84 inspections completed, 39 re-inspections, 26. So, code enforcement, 87 complaints this year. Open complaints are 87 right now, total 198 total. Years 13.5. Additional inspections 10, re-inspections 8 for resales. Still seeing some minor turnover of houses. And rental inspections 49 on the year. No open violations, code violations. And for ordinances.
The only thing I noticed is that I recognize it to be rushing the grease. Yes, I understand that. And I appreciate our public works and their efforts to go above and beyond. But I think we really need to stay true to what side of town, like the people on the other side decided to put their rushing degree out because there's so much that we're trying to accomplish in 1 week. And I love Kevin dearly, and I know he's trying to.
We'll do some reminders. We have those door hangers.
Yeah, the schedule's new.
Yeah.
I want him.
I noticed that driving through town. We got more.
It's everywhere. Everyone has disregarded any east or west. We're all one merchant.
And then there was a fifth Monday, that really.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I was like, driving this morning around, I was like, thank God this was like we're just driving.
Yeah.
There would be all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to say there's all reminder and just do the songs.
Maybe even do another reminder, email, social media.
Yeah.
Because I saw some folks out on my street that put it out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Not everybody's.
Magnets, every person that comes to the window, but they have to come to the window, so that, otherwise. If you want a few, I've been giving them out to people here on the street too.
What about work professional association adding into this so they can have residents there? They can
I did deliver some that's current to hand out to other.
but not just for the businesses to have, but I mean businesses to
Yeah,
have for residents that are coming in. Hey, residents
Okay, well,
have them.
we can,
Just think that because they might not come into our home. That's
coming into like, would you like it here?
Sure. We know who's coming in from Archibald. As we look at the budget, I know we talked. I would love for us to cut those budgets. I know we have to see how this. Other trash trucks, but nonetheless, like, once we have trash, an actual, trash truck that works.
There's a falling apart.
Yeah, that is falling apart. I'm trying to get people. It's
Any other questions, Mr. Sprout?
You say five firefighters or firefighter 1? That's pretty good.
I mean, I think we picked up. I remember the days of the class for civil service list, and I remember when when it's about lunch, pick a bunch of people up. Now it's not.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm glad everyone else
One is the vacant and abandoned property list actually states system, but I do have to be because we have a lot of money sitting on the street that people have talked about. You know, so.
We drive to
We've had one kicking around.
Yeah.
We have to call Kevin.
Yeah, well, we know actually we'll go to court.
Oh,
So that's why I think the ordinance draft, so we can make it removable, so I can convert it from just a fine to a lien judge issues it. Because right now, right, because right now, the person, basically, if they don't show up in court, the judge can't issue a fine, therefore there is no assessment, just kind of sits there. This thing that's on the table. And it's not, we don't be right, right? So, we can convert it into a legal offense. So,
you do need, let's get that on.
So. That said, a couple of things in the budget. So we are looking at an increase in the budget next year, property tax increase of 0.0596 cents. This does exhaust the entire CapEx that we have available for all 4 previous years at this point. We are also utilizing $300,000 of our surplus, which will mean us with $200,000 surplus for next year. So there's a couple of things that we did. Overall, the budget did reduce all numbers. Last year's budget was $6.58 million. This year's only $6.276 million. It's a decrease of about $340,000. Some of that is federal grant dollars from the state of Virginia, approximately $200,000 of that. Otherwise, we actually all reduce the budget by about $100,000. I'm saying all this because we don't have a cap bank next year to pull from. And the revenue that we can raise is only by what the state says taxify. With a pulling into our reserves of $300,000, we will need to make additional cuts next year. And I think we're going to make some very difficult decisions and start to really think about what those decisions look like. And kind of, as we won't be allowed to raise the rate to cover those costs. That also said, there are a number of things that we are doing to try to protect those numbers for next year, so we don't have to make as drastic decisions, including selling, some assets within the borough that we have an opportunity to sell to replenish the surplus. We're making some cuts throughout the borough, systemic in the sense that long term, actually impact this budget year, but larger impact next year. Another big thing that we did this year is we actually went and bonded our temporary bonding to permanent bonding. We were holding off for a while there, paying a variable rate on that. But it was getting to the point where we basically had to pay down the principal on that large clumps. So we're going to bond that out. We 13-year bond rate on that, 13-year payoff. So that lowered the number. But as a result of that, though, we're not going to bond any new temporary bonding next year. We're probably director. So I need to make sure you communicate that to all departments because we have 3 more years, and then the next major bond hitting our budget at $400,000 a year annually drops off. That will then free up the ability for us to start bonding again, to look at long-term bonding. We have 3 years. So any capital requests, tell them to hold it, unless it's absolutely an absolute critical emergency. So, everything else has to kind of like just sit, on the wayside, kind of just expect a little more maintenance. So that's it. There you go. Hope everyone's happy.
Listen, I mean, we talked about this. We had a lot of deferred maintenance, deferred maintenance for years.
Yeah, many years.
Interest rates were at historic lows for many years.
This was the right move. I mean, it was. Well, one of the things I didn't mention was that we also lost revenue, $628,000 of taxable property that came off the rolls this past year. That impacts the borough. That's people who like acquire property that then become nonprofits. So it's property law. Tax, there's nothing we can do about that. Having sat on council for the past, 15 years or so, I can tell you the other things actually really hit the budget, which has crushed us is we lost our contract. We used to get paid by utility companies for what for the bell tower building being, that was a tax assessed against that, we used to get almost $800,000 a year in contract. What happened was the state of New Jersey said, no, we're gonna take that back and we're gonna redistribute it to all the towns fairly as we see fit. Well, we didn't get any back. So what was a windfall to our small towns, because we had all these assets sitting in our town, now suddenly went away. So there are a number of taxes like that. I look back on this, and I'm like, I think we've done a fairly decent job of trying to hold the line, but without any additional state aid, without numbers constantly being pulled out when needed, it's tough real fast. So we're really just down to salary lines, and if you really want to break it down, which is what we're doing, our salaries when we pay against the nearby communities are lower than the nearby communities. So I can't even, like our public works guys paid almost $5 an hour less than Pensacola and Cherry Hill. So I can't reduce their salaries. I have their salary line. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I just want people to understand it's not an easy budget year. And what really killed us was the interest rates when they rose. A lot of that stuff was temporary bonds sitting there. Finance it. We were hoping the interest rates were going to drop back down. Obviously now at this point we want to bond finance as soon as possible because of what's happening overseas. But I want to catch up on the rates are still low. So
the other issues that we're dealing with are more issues, the trash collection contract.
Oh yeah, that was oh yeah, thank you. The trash contract went up this year $300,000.
Yeah. 66 went on 66% in healthcare.
That contract for the trash services is another 5-year.
5-year contract. So the good news is went by $300,000, but it'll kind of stay consistent for the next couple of years. And
So I mean, but we have to now think, okay, in 5 years, if he goes up another.
Right. And it will.
Yes,
So I'll give you another example. 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I was sitting in the budget, when we had trash collection, we actually had two numbers. One was a number for the disposal and haul off that we paid like $100,000. The other one was for our recycling, where we actually collected a couple $100,000 for the recycling. So it actually made sense for people to recycle. Now the recycling, I pay to dispose of the recycling just as much as I dispose of pay of the trash.
And then contamination happens,
Every time.
Yeah, then we pay extra for contamination. So whenever someone puts mixed recycling, some goes in recycling, we actually pay extra for that.
Yeah.
So
Every single time.
So that's been these are just like some structural things where you're like looking at it like, oh gosh, where it's kind of going.
And on top of that, we lost the price of full tax because landline phones went away.
Landline phones went away, lost the price of full tax. And quite frankly, after the division of the state attorney general's office did the revisions in the court, our court revenue has dropped almost by half. So we're down almost $100,000 court revenue costs, because not necessarily because it's just because people aren't paying fines. The fines are no longer about to be enforced by bench warrants or anything. So people just don't show up to court, which is the reason why I was saying it's minimal, because if I can't put it against someone's property, people just don't show up to pay the fine at all. So, and it's not the everyday person who's the good citizen that's, like, okay, these are people who are used to just, they have a long list of outstanding balances owed.
They know how to play the game.
They know how to play the game. So, there you go.
So not to look past the challenges of this year's budget, but you had mentioned in next year's budget that we're gonna face hard cuts.
Yeah.
Which I thought in this year's budget, I mean, we were cutting that we could.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't have the trash contract again.
The issue with next, one of the trash contract, but we are still looking at probably look at just standard increases in salary line, just to try to hold inflation. I'm probably looking at a $70,000 increase in salaries next year. Okay, on that line. So over this year's budget. So I got to figure out where $70,000. Okay, on that. The debt service, we do wipe out some debt service. I'll worry about that. And to the extent that we made other structural changes with the borough, that may also help offset that $67,000, $70,000. But we are still down a number of positions that we have not filled. The question is, will we be able to fill that subsequent budget? I don't know. I just don't know the answer. I'm not saying we can.
what I'm saying, I don't know. Without,
I'm not saying.
having making a detriment to.
So just letting you know, that's why I'm just putting it out there, I just don't want to be shocked or surprised as we go through the next year and really explore things like ambulance service. And, you know,
I think there's ways to be creative that might,
yeah,
still have the same services, they're just might be paying somebody different.
right. And that's kind of what we're thinking about. It's like, you know, we're gonna have to, we can't be criticized for taking a hard look at everything is on the table, is my point. And I think that's really where we start. Is that everything's on the table and we're gonna have to take a really hard look at we are all the services.
And these are something to be very clear. We share stuff almost every service. Volunteer service, other than police and fire.
Yeah, and let's face it, by the way,
So we can't say, you're not sure, I'm sure.
here's another one, the fire side. The two towns on both sides of this are paid. Yep. So they're not volunteer services.
No,
Like, I mean, we have to go to a paid service, volunteers, you're adding another $1 million to budget easily to cover a paid fire service. And I don't know, you know, Pensacola charges us $70,000 for ambulance service, you know, and, you know, because we gave it up from being a volunteer service. I don't know, they just had to figure out. Sorry. It is.
Unless you come with the way to create plans.
I'm trying to plan a civil money trees. I'm working on money tree right now. So, I mean, and part of it is that we can get some property back into taxable use, you know, even we, quite frankly, pilots actually help us out better. From a revenue standpoint, we can get something onto a pilot, you know, as a redevelopment property, you know, so the property is total use. If you back to a pilot, that would actually probably help. Again, everything's on the table, we just gotta everything across the board. So
I think we define new revenues.
yeah, good segue. Ordinance.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do we have any update on the property right next to the school, the address is escaping me?
Yes, they have secured it. They have started supposedly the demolition. They are bringing the plan for Kevin to submit. We actually have them against they're on a time clock. So, and if the additional action will continue to happen shortly, we're going to move forward with this conservation. So that's on the time clock. Like we told them that we're not holding up. That's why we saw the fence go up. That's why you saw the posted. That's why. So all that happened after that.
Yeah,
And then the snow came. So, like, you know, but now we're at a point where, okay, let's see what happens next time.
thank you, that was all.
You're welcome.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much, Council. Express first report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to remind everyone that financial disclosure forms are due by the end of the month. So we'll say next week. Do have another meeting where I remind you.
Mine is not.
Yours is not. You are correct. I'm not gonna throw under the bus.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm not.
And then few of the events, just a reminder, Market Off Center, this month is the first month for Market Off Center, but they changed it to May, from May 15th, rather than May 1st. That will be, I'm thinking, that will be the first market, okay? First market, May 15th, they made a change to it, all the others will be the first Friday. And then there's the art walk coming up that everybody can attend, and if you can volunteer, please let Rebecca know. She's looking, and I know she's working with the Business Association for locations. I'm sorry?
Our walk is May 8th.
It is. Okay, and then the community center project is on the agenda this evening. That is the exterior repairs and painting of the building, a long-awaited project. So that should be starting sometime by the end of the month, and they're telling me it would be maybe less than 2 months. So looking forward to that. That's all that I have, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the clerk? Hearing none, community development report, it should be in the center. We have 4 new businesses in the community. One, all I see is Gold Wrestling Cabinet. The ribbon cutting is Wednesday at 5:30. Hopefully I don't get taken down or anything like that. Where I was in high school, Jordan Burroughs anyway, but I win. Restaurant 1793 is open, Taco House 2 is open, strikes. I guess my son will make me poor by going there as a sports card and shop.
I think he said tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay, that's it. Next on the agenda is the CFO report. Borough kind of gave that already. Old business, we have our short-term rental discussion.
Yep, thank you, Your Honor. So you have 2 ordinances I'm going to do for discussion, very much in line with all the individual, kind of taking everyone's feedback. To kind of give that quick history, we do have a rental registration requirement in town, chapter 66. It did not apply to this. One of the key differences, if the residence changes, do another inspection, and obviously the short-term rentals operate at a very different time frame than a regular rental registration. So, talking potentially every single day during another inspection. So we looked at this, we looked at looking across the state, we also looked at the state's need, we looked at the fact that we have the 250th anniversary of the country coming up, the Olympic Center of that, you have All-Star games, you have FIFA World Cup, you have PGA Championship in a couple weeks. We have a lot, and as a better community to a much larger metro area, this is something that's only going to increase the potential for the opportunity for it. We think back, and I really do think back when, I guess it was only a couple of us on council when we had 60 plus foreclosed homes, what that meant for the town, that means for property values, how that estimates, and it really creates a burden. And trying to balance either someone that's an individual, maybe someone that has a mortgage, maybe someone that's a widow, that lost of income or something like that. So that allow people, based on affordability, to use their house, use their assets reasonably, responsibly, to allow some sort of rental. Allow someone the opportunity that says, I'm going on vacation, I want someone to rent my house for a week, I have someone to do this, I want to do a vacation, that sort of thing. So you can't look for short-term rental. The things I want to draw everyone's attention to, you must be a resident. You must live in that home. This is not for commercial properties, this is not for LLCs, this is not for investor-owned organizations to come in, jack up property values, make it much more unaffordable for people to live in their homes, make it so it's a rental commercial property. This would be, you have to demonstrate proof that you live in that home, that you're a resident of Merchantville, you have a registration, you have voter registration, car registration, a license, something of the sort that proves it's not just a utility. Yeah, I have PSCNG, of course everyone can have it. But what it does allow is on occasion someone to rent out their house, leave your room in the entire house. And we put those types of controls. This would be minimum 2 days, not to exceed 7 days, not to exceed 7 days in a month. So we're talking less than 25% that you can actually do this. We increased the noise ordinance for this. So the noise ordinance would be extended in the morning and at night. This is meant to be for mindful neighbors. You must register, must be inspected, must have fire code, must have landscaping, must have insurance, must keep logs, must disclose in your online registration that you are registered. Allows code enforcement to come in there and inspect your logs and make sure there's no problems. What I try to do is balance individual rights to someone's home, and the home is your castle. That we're not infringing those people's rights. We'll also balance the community while balancing neighbors that might, if there's complaints or something else that gives them recourse to come to code enforcement to say this has become a problem. So that's the one ordinance. The next ordinance allows we talk about revenues, looking for opportunities, so this is that. The legislature a few years ago passed a bill for towns like ours to actually institute a 3% tax. That would do that too. So that becomes another check on this. That they must be registered, they must file with the state, they must have their business taxes, they must pay taxes on this budget. So that's what's reported, the questions, thoughts, that's it.
So one question says, this doesn't apply to bed processes as defined by state or
That was
is there a state?
Yes, so that would force them to go to something. Because that's a full commercial property. That means if you want to go beyond the 7 days, if you want to do extension stays, if you want to rent it out full time, or more than 7 days a month, a calendar month. And
That's my only issue. That. Not the seven, only because, only because if I'm on a, like, 250s coming this year, or Beaches coming this year, I'm gonna go take off, and I'm gonna take 2. So that's what we're trying to say. I don't think that's unusual, for someone very young.
We don't have a annual limit, do we?
not annually,
Somewhere.
because on some level, we're trying
Just
to.
balance that into duration, but we cap it at a certain amount.
My concern with the annual was,
Because I mean,
if you could put it all into couple weeks, you could do,
Well, I'm saying we still, yeah, I'm saying we still have that.
Max 14 days in next 1 month.
yeah, we could.
Max
We could do both.
consecutive is 14 days. So your max total for the year would be
Whatever. The same amount.
Yeah.
Yes, we could, and that's why that's what we're talking about. But I was starting from the point of and going from there, but I'm open.
No, I mean, I think I'd be open to making it a longer duration if you cap it annually.
Yeah, that's the same though.
I would have to agree.
The other thing, so I know we would be collecting 100% tax, but the annual application fee, $75 is low.
We're 150 for apartment registration because we're considering 10% cap on that. Knowing that we don't have to hire anyone additional, it's less work for that purposes. So
I'm sort of making it consistent with.
I thought that the inspection fees also have to be relevant to the cost of
There's a test by the state.
But I think
The person overly burns.
the person that's doing the rentals would be the same person that's conducting these.
But if we can't collect, I can't collect the 3% tax on rents.
Okay, so that's the, okay.
That was different.
Okay, so we're collecting 3%, but we are keeping the annual fee at half the cost of.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Can we put it up to 9? Or no?
I've seen that yet. We'll see what that gets. And this is in line with some of the DCA directors that have put out there. This balances a lot. There is one part in here, this way is that, just to clarify, that when they actually post it online, that they have to put their registration. So that someone can know, they can call, and they can be aware of why they registered. It's very clear, so you can't advertise something without demonstrating that you do have a proper permit.
Is the fine for violations consistent with the fines for other rental properties? That you get
Well, fines for what?
if there was a violation of
They would
other
go
rental.
They would have do it. If you don't complete it, you don't receive the registration, you can't rent. So then it would be.
If there's a violation after they've applied, then it goes to the usual municipal court violation, of a minimum fine, $200 plus the potential of losing their.
And it's really not losing the account.
Yeah, and listed under C is for under Article 7, any person found violation of provision shall have the result of immediate revocation of short-term permit.
Can I ask a question here?
You gotta come to the front,
Is that okay?
say your name, address.
I'm really sorry. Mark Hartnett, 40 West here. One of the things we were concerned about, at the point we had 5 adult and 13 beds.
It has a,
What about, with the registry, we have talked real hard, we were worried, what if one of these people is on the registry? Is there anything in this ordinance? You can't. Okay,
you can't deny housing.
okay.
But this ordinance would cap it to 2 people per group.
So similar to a host of occupancy. Well, a husband and wife.
So there could have been 8 guys next door.
Well, that's if they have all 5 rooms that they want, right? They would have to, you know.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
But there's other issues going back to your issue. If you're on Megan's lot, you have parole, so you would have to disclose their parole. So then that's a parole violation.
Okay,
So there's other.
okay,
But you can't deny us.
gotcha. Thank you.
How are we feeling? To move forward? Introduce this.
We're looking to do that with the discuss.
I'm going to bring 2 days and cap it at
14, what was the number you said, I'm sorry, it was 84.
I believe that's 7.
Introduce it subject to 14 days.
with an active. Yeah,
And
they have to list on it.
no more than
14 a month.
14 a month, 84 days.
84 total.
And remember, this is for me in residential. If someone says it to us, I mean, we're gonna see if they're gonna have, they could say, they have to disclose their Airbnb or, you know, anything like that, so. But that's really, that's not so for us, and that's so, something that wants to, you know, Jersey City requires on the side requirement, yes, it is a inspected, permitted use. It's not like someone that is seeking your business, but it's more for the consumer class.
kind of version that we're going to introduce.
I'm sorry,
I wasn't at that. The 1%.
Yeah.
And tell me which chapters.
that's an amendment. Just Article 5. Adding Article 5 to Chapter 77. Yes.
Chapter 77?
Yes, taxation chapter. Actually, on the agenda, it says Article 366, it's actually Article 6. I agree.
4, or you just said
Or
4?
there's 2 words.
Okay, so,
One has to do with taxation.
okay, Article 5, chapter 77, and then,
Taxation.
okay. And then, chapter,
Article
4.
or chapter. I'll read it.
And then part of this discussion, leaving out there, and maybe it's your question, Cousin. We'll read this, that's gonna be separate, that's gonna be the conditional use, to making sure that anything beyond this, which is already required anyway, because it's permitted, so you would have to go for variance and planners if you wanted to do 15 days or 4 or anything like that. I would like to look at how do we regulate those and make a very strict and streamlined, you know, worry about parking, worry about trash collection, all the associated non-domiciled, you know, as we go doing that.
You're talking about investment properties?
I'm saying more for like a bed practice, that's property, but like, yeah, I didn't get there yet, so, separate two.
Yeah, anything else is considered long-term rental.
It is right now, yeah, but having sort of that structure just for bed practice, and it's not.
Yeah, but that, yeah, a long run would be that for turnover.
No.
But that's all it was.
Yeah, no,
And this distinguishes our working hours, and that's what you have to do, that will distinguish their, which is stays long in the 30 minutes, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on that. Next is discussion on fair share housing plan. So I think we're ready to introduce this.
That's the model ordinance for the fair share housing plan. It's like, I think everybody has a copy. So almost 50 some odd days. It has been, there has been some modifications made, for the town, for the purposes of the town, but I think we're ready.
Modifications made for the purpose of the town.
That control, the accessory use,
Right.
and everything in that.
Just want to make sure. Yes, since that's not currently stated, all that we're not required.
The accessory dwelling.
Accessory dwelling unit, that was within the original fair share housing plan. We removed that.
And this is permissible, the law that was passed, just permissible. That's it, correct?
Right now required,
That's, okay,
which
that's
is,
what
which is what is next.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I just wanted to, that as a discussion. because we had already reached this on the agenda.
So that's what accessory uses are not.
Or not.
Right, under the yes, correct. Not yet, not until the state requires us to, but which may happen.
Some properties in town are quite good, so, okay.
There's a lot.
It's not that we can get that. I mean, think of this, let's say this is context for budget. You get accessible use if you have a carriage house that's converted to an in-law suite, you know, full. It's a higher tax value. Approved use.
Yeah.
Okay, good, it's good land.
That's what I'm saying. Is this came up in the conversation? And that's not necessarily, that's not what school, kids at school, but.
Not necessarily. Okay, new business, I have 3 use facilities, Mr. Parker, will you act? Mr.
I absolutely would have.
And introduce those?
Yes, I would like to introduce 3 use facilities forms for 2 for St. Peter's, one for education. And the other one, a use facility for playground and community center. For
Party.
a park.
Also,
I assume we have all associated
Signatures.
signatures.
Yes. Yep.
Then you can sign below there. That's fine.
I have first, Mr. Colonel, I have a second, Mr. Sparrow, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolutions, everything but the budget, we're going to the consent agenda, unless anybody has any reason to. Any of those.
that's what I would do.
Excuse me?
So, there.
All right, I see that.
Where did I say this?
It's,
It's a new town in the state of.
you may.
R2647.
You may.
Did not spell that.
Okay. Don't worry.
You get the names right.
All right, resolution 2646, Article 2017, chapter 183, governing body resolution, that has to do with United States Employment Opportunity Commission. Resolution 2647, appoint humane officer. Resolution 2648, refund payment to community center rental. Resolution 2649, award co-op community center project. Resolution 2650, authorizing 3-year average RUT calculation. Resolution 2651, approved tax management plan that change, and resolution 2652, work contract with public works trash truck. Like a resolution, or excuse me, a motion.
Second.
First, Mr. Roberts, second. Roll call.
Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Colonel?
Yes.
Mr. Raza?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes. Thank you very much. Next, is resolution 2653, the fund 26 budget. So,
Second.
Mr. Colonel, first, Mr. Roberts, second. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Colonel?
Yes.
Mr. Raza?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ordinances that we are introducing this evening. I'm going to do them one by one. You know,
Five.
there will be a 08, which
Oh, that's
is
right. Okay.
chapter 77. First is ordinance 2604, the salary ordinance. This is being introduced this evening for first reading, and considered for adoption. Can we adopt this on the 27th?
I guess I have to wait until May 11th.
So,
I'll change that.
we'll just- Yeah, that'll be May 11th. Okay, we'll go on that. I have a motion. So, I have a motion, Mr. Perno, second, Mr. Speraza, any discussion on introduction of ordinance 2604 Tower? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Brazza?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
How about fees, May 11th or
May 11th.
May 11th? We have ordinance 2605, chapter 25, fees. I have a motion, Mr. Perno.
Second.
Mr. Speraza with the second, any discussion? None, roll call.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Turner? Mr. Brazza?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
We'll do this one.
Yes.
We'll do April 27th. For ordinance 2606, adding articles to Fisher Housing Plan, chapter 3 of housing by the motion.
Second.
Rosalind the first, Mr. Turner the second, discussion. Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Brazza?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Also for April 27th, our ordinance 2607, adding article 4.
Second.
Rosalind the first, Mr. Fitzgerald the second, any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Perno? Mr. Speraza?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
And also for April 27th will be ordinance 2608. This is ordinance adding Article 5 municipal occupancy tax to Chapter 77 taxation in the Code of the Borough of Commercial. Second. First motion by Mr. Strauss, the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Perno?
Yes.
Mr. Speraza?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is the financial reports.
I could make a motion to give it our bills. $119,300.
Motion is for Perno, for resolution 2604, paying the bills, second, Mr. Peraza. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Mr. Perno?
Yes.
Speraza?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Announcement. Who's council president? Mr. McLean? I will be running the next meeting, so I'll be running out of work, so I'll not be here. It always falls to most senior, or the most senior. Any other matters? The only other announcement, please just brought that over. We are creating Friends of the Community Center after many years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Patty Fields has agreed to
Chair.
be the executive, you know,
Yeah.
run it for the time being. We have for the second floor there for the Historical Society and Sean Norman, who's president of that. He's an architect and he is drawings for us about the second floor there. You know, I keep calling it a museum, it's just more of a resource center, museum element, some other stuff. We have about $85,000 that we received through charitable donations. We have another 30 that's committed. We think the project, which includes some HVAC, currently costs about $300,000. In the coming weeks and months, there will be a soft introduction to this group. There will be a formal kickoff to the Friends of the Community Center and campaign, giving campaign, probably in September. I just wanted you all to know that discussing this, we have a number of meetings. Historical Society, with Borough, personnel, myself, Denise. And so just, you know, be aware, have some thoughts about, people that might be interested in supporting this type of, and, you know, something going on. There's another way that we make sort of community center outside of funds.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that obviously is, you know, near and dear to Andrew's mother's, heart, and I know that there's time and concern, like, to get this done. So we're gonna try and supercharge it as we can, and get some, you know, nice drawings from Sean, really try. So just, it was on my mind.
Establishing like a policy for that sort of vaccination.
Yeah. So,
Like structure and all that stuff, bylaws.
and
So what is the task force?
no, we're gonna do it separately from the task force.
Yeah.
Just because the task force is so talking about downtown.
Yeah.
We want that to be separate. Again, Patty's gonna run it. There are a couple other people probably interested. If you guys are interested for any reason, if you'd like to be involved, we're looking for people. I think we're gonna keep it like 5 to 7. I didn't see that. Maybe write a check then.
Checks the votes.
Yeah, checks are well. But I know that people might be drawn to that facility, might be drawn to the historical society, which is going to take up a large, that resource area is going to basically take up everything but the back half. And long term, I think the back half will probably turn into a bridal suite to continue like we're doing. We would use the Friends of the Community Center to kind of do that. Long term, managing the facility, almost like the Morristown house and things like that, which is more, is a community house, privately managed. And, so it's, anyway, it's something to keep on your mind, something to be talking about forever, something that we had a really last week. I don't have anything for private session. Yep, okay. I'll accept the motion here. Second. Bronson first. He has a lot of records. All in favor?
I would say. What's downstairs? Downstairs.